William, your videographer for the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans, the place where you can learn to fight for your rights. Let's listen in and find out how.
Welcome to the April meeting of the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans Dallas chapter. We are really happy to have all of you here. I know we have some new people. Terry Hodge, we're thankful that you're here. And we probably will have some people come in later, but everyone is appreciated. First of all, I want to show you that we have a new member that Morris brought in. He got it at the college.
Who brought it in?
Oh, I'm sorry. George brought it in. I'm sorry. George brought it in. I'm confused today.
Hello, George.
Y'all just, I'm confused. I apologize. We have some new information about something that's happened to Susan, and she'll tell us about it a little bit later. But I did want to let you know that since we met in March, we had a Social Security demonstration on behalf of the Social Security employees and letting people know not to cut, not to have Medicare or Social Security cut. We had two people, Zen and Morris, that went to the immigration demonstration in front of Senator Cornyn's office. We had some people come out to the postal workers demonstration a week ago Sunday for their not cutting Saturday delivery. They had quite a few people there. I think Lewis and I figured out they probably had about 200 or 300 with people coming and going, because a lot of people were coming and going. And I'm sure a lot of people, if I'd known there was a bus taking people from the credit union, So if some people like me tried to park in the postal parking lot and were told they couldn't and go to the credit union, I couldn't walk that far, so I snuck in front of the limousine company. But I think if they'd let people know that they had a bus, probably they had other people that would have been there. But it was nice. The big trucks on 30 were tooting. I figured they were probably Teamsters, but anyway, they were tooting. And then a lot of the people that came by to put in mail or whatever were also tooting. So I thought that was exciting. It's always nice when people join us by supporting us with their horns. That's really all I have right now. And Jean Lance is going to give us state information and any actions that I might have missed on our dates to remember, which we'll go over a little bit later.
Well, everything is happening, as you know. It's not just something, it's everything. But if you read the paper day before yesterday, you saw that a place called Stockton, California, has been forced into bankruptcy. They have been, up until now, keeping up with their commitment to their retirees. But they also have a large commitment to big banks that have loaned them money. So the big banks have forced them into bankruptcy, and they're going to sue to try to overturn the California law. The California law puts the retirees ahead of the other creditors. They're going to try to overturn that so that the city of Stockton, California, which the paper said it was the largest city so far forced into bankruptcy. But they intend to take away the rights of those public employees, and particularly their retirement rights. This is just the latest example that I know of what's going on all over the world. Attempts to take away people's retirement rights and the right to retire in America. It also points to the importance of public employees. And the public employees, of course, we were happy to go with the teachers 2 or 3 weeks ago with Tony and the teachers when they had their buses. But we also have another chance on April the 10th to go with the state workers. Now, I believe Terry Hodge is a member of the state workers, are you not, Terry? That's the public employees that work for the state. And most of the state legislators got signed up to join that union. They've got a pension. They're worried about it. We can help. And so we will do the best we can. Now, I think Judy's going to talk about our event coming up on May 3rd. Are you not, Judy?
Yes.
So I'll leave that for her then, because that's the really good news. Thank you.
I also wanted to talk about the fact that next week on Wednesday, May the 10th, Wednesday, April the 10th, we will be going to Austin. I don't need a mic.
Yes, you do, sir.
Oh, it goes in. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me come back up there then.
Is it the 10th or not the 11th?
I was picking you up, Judy. I was picking you up.
That's what I figured because I project. I didn't figure I'd have any problem. Next Wednesday, April 10th, we are going to Austin with, it's really also part of Texas Forward, which is a coalition of a lot of state groups and the Texas State Employees Union partnered for this lobby day. It's about a balanced approach to a balanced budget. We all know that there's money there if our governor and other folks turn loose of it or figure out ways to increase the funding for such programs that benefit people. And I do have some forms if you're interested. I know Jean, Leah, myself, Brenda Warner, Janetta Flores, and 2 other people, I think, who have sent their forms in are going. And so if anybody is interested, actually, I could get your information, and it's a $15 fee, which, I mean, that's not refunded, but it's $15 that includes lunch and everything, and the bus ride and lunch, and then I can register you online. I have been working with the local TSEU guy named Joe Montemayor, whose wife works for Alliance, is an organizer for Alliance, and then also Seth Hutchison, who's now their state organizer. He was the person who was here. I went to this lobby day a couple of years ago. But Texas Forward and TSEU partnered to do that. There'll be, we're going to depart on a bus that's going to leave from down on Cadiz at the probation office.
What date did you say?
Next Wednesday, April 10th. I don't know why.
I put the wrong date. It's April 10th on your agenda. It says the
It's April 10th. It's next Wednesday, April 10th. And we will depart about 5:45 and be back about 7. They're going to have a 45-minute training, the Texas Forward group, in the Capitol Extension Auditorium. They're going to have a short training about the Texas budget so that people are knowledgeable and can really hammer home the points to their legislators about what we can do so that we don't cut services, so that they keep their cotton-picking hands off of mine and Tony's teacher pensions and off of Terry's and anybody else's state pensions. You know, they see a pot of money and want to try to get it. So if you're interested, see me when we're finished, because I could just get your money, and I've been paying for it through PayPal. That's what I've done with the other, with the other folks. It's easy, and that way you're registered, and I'm going to send Seth and Joe a list of people who are going from Terra to let them know that we're all going to be on the same bus. And I'll contact you about that. That's one thing. Then another thing, just to let you know, as we said, we're really very glad to have Terry Hodge with us. And I talked to her a week or so ago, and she said she'd been seeing our things, and she said, I need to come join you all. So I'm certainly glad she did. This morning I was at a meeting at the DeSoto Senior Center with Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, and it was a room full of seniors. And she was giving us an update on what's going on in Washington. And having known her for a long time, she said that the last 5 years, but especially the last year, had been the most difficult she had ever experienced in Congress because of the pressure that the Tea Party had brought to bear on a lot of people who really had good hearts and who all of a sudden seemed like different people from folks that she once knew. That she had worked a lot with Speaker Boehner before he became Speaker. She said now he's like a different person. She said, I can tell you his heart used to be in the right place. And that she could watch him closely because she knows him well and see that sometimes he wants to agree with the points that are being made, but he kind of looks around to see if his Republican cohorts are looking at him, and then he holds back. And she said it's just the climate in Washington that everyone is about the party and not about the people. and not about what's going on with the people. And that's the same thing that's going on in Austin. It's what's going on with the party and the governor and what he keeps saying no to, rather than what can we do to take care of our people. And that's why I'm very proud of the fact that our Texas Alliance for Retired Americans, thanks to our national organization, we are being as proactive and active as possible. And I want to thank those of you in the room, because most of you were folks who were at these various demonstrations and actions. And I want to tell you that it makes me very proud of the fact that we're now called on as Terra, with about this number of folks, to show up for actions because they know we will, whereas sometimes other labor-associated groups don't. And so we're being looked at that way, and that makes me very proud. But it was really wonderful to get to see Congresswoman Johnson and actually give her and her staff her tickets to our very important May 3rd, Friday, May 3rd fundraiser honoring Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. She's been the voice for seniors and for all the people in this area for a long time, and now she at least has Mark Vesey joining her. And Mark Vesey is going to pay tribute to her at this event on Friday, May 3rd. That's at the APWU Hall of Brother Fulbright out there on Postal Way, where we met when we went to Austin. Some of you have met, out there. We are looking for sponsors, table sponsors. We sent letters to everybody. If you'll follow up with Rena, because she got a personal letter from Jean and some other things. But we're also selling individual tickets that are $30. And we're going to make a good profit on that, because Texas Alliance for Retired Americans is a 501c3. We are self-funded. We get a grant that funds my salary from the National Alliance for Retired Americans, but in a few years, they have to move on to helping other states, grow. So this is the first time we've done a fundraiser, and I would like very much if each one of you would hopefully commit to coming, and then to commit to selling, a few tickets. And we can also, get those to you. You can go on, and I thought Jean might plug this. I want you to know that Jean Lance has worked for a year and a half to get this to happen, and finally about a month ago, you can donate, buy tickets, pay membership dues, do anything from our website now, thanks to his untiring efforts. All you do is go to the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans website, and there's a donate button, and you click on donate. It takes you to the PayPal page, right? I've done it twice, and I bought my ticket for the dinner through PayPal. Through PayPal. So that's really good, so you don't have to fool with cash or checks or whatever. And it took him an unbelievably long time. He just kept working at it and working at it and working at it, as you know Gene does. And he called me and said, would you try it? And I did, and it worked. So yay, yay. And that will help us. So if you run into someone who wants to become a member, you can get their information and email it to Gene and me, but they could pay their dues online, right, Gene?
Well, we got $160 yesterday.
That's great. So I also want to tell you that we have had some great donations already, and I appreciate Morris, who can't join us but said he would donate. We had the state president of Virginia make a donation to us from his personal, just, to buy a ticket and said to use. He saw it on our website and sent Elaine Jones, our treasurer, a check. The Corpus Christi Central Labor Council, of which Elaine Jones, our treasurer, is a member, the trustees of the Coastal Bend Labor Council, they're buying 4 tickets. And so if you call people's attention to it, it's on our website, on our Facebook page, I think we'll get, a lot more folks doing that. It's being catered by Desperados. have a real nice place out there, and working with Louis and with his wife, Jennifer, to get this all set up. So if you need tickets, you can check them out, buy them. I will let Leah take money and stuff. We've still got to get straightened out here, but we've got them divided up. So that's all. I'm excited about this because this is the first time we've done a fundraiser, and we were very fortunate to have all these people agree to come join us, and to have Mark Vesey speak and Linda Chavez Thompson come up to speak to introduce him. So that's really a good deal.
We do ask if you take tickets, checkout tickets, that you get us the money or the tickets back by no later than, say, the 20th. So if we have any left and somebody needs them, we can get them sold, because we don't want to have any tickets left. We'd like, the best case scenario is we run out of tickets.
Right.
And we'd write people a note.
Oh, and as another thing, just to let you know, our state AFL-CIO is supporting us. I worked online with Lee Forbes, that's their, one of the directors there, who, and she and I worked back and forth and created the ticket, and they printed them for us at no charge. And that can run into a lot of money when you're having an event.
And
So
they're nice.
we're very, very, very proud to be supported by them. I am very proud to introduce to you someone I felt like I've known him, because I've known him since September when he started working, and we talk and email and text and various things. Peter Witzler is our Deputy Field Director for the Field Mobilization Department at the Alliance for Retired Americans. He's had a number of different positions in organizing and various things, and we were fortunate to have him join us at the National Alliance for Retired Americans in September. He's traveling around to different states, just flew in here this morning from Las Vegas to go over to work with Gene and me and our executive board and some activists about our plan that I had to turn in a few weeks ago, our field plan for the coming year that we are focusing on and working on. But since we were fortunate enough to have him here at the time of our meeting, I asked him if he would share with us a little bit about what the National Alliance for Retired Americans does, and specifically some of the campaigns that we have going on and that we will have going on. So I give you Peter Witzler.
Hi. Cool. Thank you for the introduction, Judy, and thank you, Gene and Leah, for organizing the meeting and for inviting me here too. So I thought what I could do is just talk a little bit about, I'm from DC, so maybe I can try to bring some of the DC politics and legislative things that are happening and give sort of a brief update on that. But not just talk about what Congress is doing, but what the Alliance is doing to make sure that Congress does the right thing, and that the President does the right thing as well, and that we protect retirement security for all current and future retirees as well. So, just to take a step back and kind of remind folks where we are right now and kind of the legislative process. We're in the budget process. This is the busy part of the year in Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago, we passed. We had the case of, call it dueling budgets in Washington, D.C. So on one hand, you have Paul Ryan's reverse Robin Hood roadmap to ruin. Boo, hiss, terrible. Yes, sounds like you guys are very much in the know. But this was a really terrible budget. It was a budget that would have turned Medicare into a voucher, would have privatized, Social Security, put it on the fast track to be able to do things like that. And not just with retirement security and our sort of core issues around Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, but it was really bad just in general for working people. It was a budget that said preserving tax breaks for corporations and the wealthy and well-off is more important than protecting middle-class families and working people. It was a budget that said it was more important to ship jobs overseas and give tax breaks to corporations to do that than to protect home energy assistance programs for people. So it was a pretty bad budget. What they fail to realize is that it's the same budget, the same plan that the Romney-Ryan ticket ran on. in the last year. And, American people stood up and rejected that plan, but they're still, pushing it forward. We were saying it's not new, it's not improved, and it's actually even worse than it was the third time. This is the third time that the budget has come around. The good thing is that there is a better way forward. There's a better path to put Americans back to work, to protect the middle class, to protect retirement security. So on the Senate side, we had Senator Murray introduced a budget that would have invested in infrastructure, putting people back to work, building roads and bridges and schools, hiring more teachers, hiring more police, firefighters, putting them back to work to protect our communities. And also included, smart reforms that we can do to programs, not only just as part of the budget, but, Medicare is a really important program, and we need to make sure it's here for us now and it's here for people in the future. There are some smart ways that we can save money in Medicare, not by turning it into a voucher care, but by doing things like negotiating prescription drug prices, getting generic drugs instead of, paying millions of dollars to Merck and other pharmaceutical companies. Let's, negotiate drug prices just like we do everywhere else. And all the other, if it's good enough for the TRICARE system for a military, it ought to be good enough for Medicare as well. Also, things like Senator Sanders and Senator Begich have introduced bills that would strengthen Social Security by doing smart things like scrapping the cap, so making sure that people like Warren Buffett are paying the same fair share of their income as his secretary. And also getting rid of not getting rid of, but rather improving the cost of living adjustments with the CPI for the elderly. So I want to talk just a little bit about chain CPI. Have folks heard? Is that a familiar term, everybody? Everybody's in the This is great. So this is no education, right? So chain CPI, terrible thing, right? Based on the theory that says if your doctor says you need a triple bypass, you'll just opt for the cheaper option, a double bypass. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah. So it's a pretty terrible idea. Thankfully, up to this point, we haven't had a budget that included that. And thankfully, up to this point, we've been able to protect Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So every time these programs were on the line, every time they were on the chopping block, it was folks like you in this room and folks like you in rooms like this all across the country. So, the Alliance is not just here in Texas, but we have 33 state affiliates. So, I have the great pleasure of working not only with you all here in Texas, but actually in 33 other states of folks who have gotten out there and taken the actions that needed to be done to make sure that in the votes that have happened up to this point that we haven't included cuts to Medicare, Social Security, or Medicaid. And so we should all be really thankful and proud of ourselves for making that happen. But it's time to continue to keep the pressure up. Next week, the president is actually going to introduce his budget. And there's a lot of things we're not quite sure exactly what might happen there. But during the original, when this all happened with the fiscal cliff, the official fiscal cliff version 1.0 back in August of 2011, one of the things that the president put on the table at that point was the chain CPI. It's unclear whether or not he's going to include the chain CPI in the budget that he's going to release next week. If he does, it's going to be incredibly important to swing into action and make sure to, we all know about it in this room, about the chain CPI. The most important thing to know about chain CPI is it's a benefit cut. So we need to be out there and educating everyone else to make sure that they know the chain CPI is a benefit cut as well. We need to educate not only our members, but put the pressure on our members of Congress as well. We might not move the president on the issue of chain CPI, but we can certainly put the pressure on the members of Congress, who are the ones who are going to have to answer in elections very soon, and the ones who would actually be making the votes there to happen too. So, we're if the chain CPI happens next week, if it is included in the president's budget, we'll be swinging into action to get media coverage about the issue, to educate the public about the issue, and to pressure our members of Congress about the issue as well, and make sure that that is not included in any sort of budget that's passed this year. So But in addition to, fighting these cuts, again, what we're focusing on right now is what are the smart reforms that we can do to Medicare, to Social Security, to strengthen it not only for current retirees, but future retirees. So we'll continue to advocate for those other two bills I mentioned with Senators Sanders and Begich, so lifting the cap and moving to the CPI for the elderly, and then also around prescription drug prices for Medicare. So, we can save lots of money in the system that way too. So those are some of the things that we're working on. And again, not only here in Texas, but also 33 other states where folks are out there doing this and making it happen. So I think I'll stop there. Yeah.
You might tell them the organizing department, field mobilization
Oh.
department is not really very big in DC, so.
We are big. We're a small but mighty team.
Right.
So you did ask me to speak just a little bit about our department in the National Alliance, but
I heard Jan Schakowsky has go in to reintroduce the public option.
I've heard that too, but I haven't heard much about it. Yeah.
That would drastically cut the cost of Medicare without screwing everybody.
It would. It absolutely would. It'd be a great bill. I haven't heard anything about it myself personally, but it'd be nice to get back to the public option. But yeah, so the field department is myself. Danny Perry is our field director. And then, we have our national staff, a communications team, and legislative and political folks as well. But, our role is really to support the work that you guys do here, to create the issue briefs and the advocacy plans to move our members of Congress and our senators and, the president to make sure that they do the right thing for retirement security. Other question?
Yeah, you mentioned CPIE.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Sure, I'll try to. So I should say I'm an organizer by trade, not a policy expert. So here's my understanding of it: is that the problem with the chain CPI is that it treats all consumers the same. The thing with the consumer price index for the elderly is that it looks at a basket of goods that a senior has, and it recognizes the fact that seniors spend different portions of their income on different food, medicine, prescriptions. Yes, exactly. So it recognizes that, and it creates the basket of goods and the same way that the regular cost of living adjustments is supposed to be doing, but it focuses on just what a senior would purchase, and then so it ends up being more generous. It actually ends up being about an $800 increase in the COLA.
Yeah, I was reading, the reason why I asked, I was reading a New York Times article on Social Security, and it raised this issue. It says, to ensure the system obtains proper COLAs, Congress should instruct the Bureau of Labor Statistics to develop a rigorous index of inflation amongst retirees. And so that is done cutting COLA on grounds that it's too hard to identify.
Yeah.
So you're saying that has been done?
Yeah. So they have studied it. It's a pilot project, and it's a research project for the Bureau of Labor or the whatever the Commerce Department, whoever does that. So they have that, and then they have it in theory. What they're planning to do and what the bill would do was apply that economic theory to say that seniors are different, their basket of goods are different, and we should adjust their COLAs with respect to that. Good.
They have studied it, but they haven't done it.
Yeah.
Well, it's that they look at it, but they don't actually publish COLA index.
I don't-
Mark Vesey said they didn't publish it, but.
No, as far as I know, they don't publish it, but they know what it is.
Yeah.
And the current CPI, the problem with it is that it's set for people that are working, set for active workers. But everybody has to use that same one.
Right.
Now, the chain CPI is much worse than that. Everybody understands that. The change CPI is a cut.
The older you are, the more it
What does
cuts.
the E stand for?
Elderly.
Elderly.
We're elderly.
We're elderly.
Okay, we're elderly. Doesn't that make you feel really energetic?
The change,
I do want to tell Peter that we normally have more people, and our demonstrations have gone from 3 to 25, 30. We can get quite a few people out if we know about it soon enough, and it's an issue that interests people. So we're really proud that we are growing, and they're noticing, like Judy said, that we're growing. I know that Susan needs to say something because she just received a letter from her doctor because she's just gotten to be elderly. We're sorry about that, Susan. We'll all go in the corner and cry in a minute. But Judy forgot to give Peter his gift from us.
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, you'll do that
No,
later.
I haven't forgotten.
Okay.
We're not through the
But,
meeting yet.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, Susan, let me give you
Oh, you guys are
this.
great.
I can't get down. But so that well, you can come up, or I can hand it to you down there.
Come on up.
just come right on up.
Okay, and we have,
I want this to be a separate video.
Do you want to do this at the chair?
Can you do that? Okay.
okay.
Know who you are
You want to
first.
sit here so you can ask her questions?
I'm Susan Duarte, and can
It's not, okay, wait a minute, it's not a sound. It's going to his film.
Okay.
So it's not, now, oh, she can put it in there if she
no, I'm
wants to.
happy here.
Okay. Jean's going to sit down. Oh, okay.
Should I sit or stand?
Whichever's easier for you. Okay. Sit down and be comfortable.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Susan Duarte, and my husband's Tom Barry, and we are definitely activists. And last night, after an afternoon with my grandchildren, I came home, and there was a letter from med provider at Baylor to me, Susan Duarte, from my doctor, saying, because you are old, Susan, and you are on Medicare, we're going to drop you effective July 1st. However, we can offer you, I guess you call it boutique care, where for $2,000 annually, I would receive free parking at Baylor, although valet parking is $5. I'd have my own waiting room to sit in. I could call the doctor immediately and get in. Oh, another thing, I wouldn't have to go to the basement and sit with other dreadful people like myself and and have my lab work done. So to me, this is like a segregated group, me. And if I don't pay $2,000 annually, I will be dropped from his practice effective July 1st. Well, I only go there once a year for my physical. I mean, I've been very fortunate to have good health. And I just find this the most discriminating piece of literature I've received in a long time, and I'm pretty angry. And I could even tell you the name of the doctor is Dr. John Brooks. And I know from just visiting with him that he's very unhappy about Obamacare, and so forth. And in my letter, which is so interesting, they say that I can even pay this fee, this $2,000, by credit card installments. And will my insurance plan cover the membership fee? No, it is unlikely. What if I'm hospitalized? Yes, they'll hospitalize me. And what else? This was good. Yes, my physician will only have now 300 to 600 patients instead of his usual 2,000 to 3,000 patients. So you see, I am very upset about this, and would like to go public and ask anybody any assistance or suggestions. The young man repairing my dishwasher this morning suggested I contact Angie's List, and I think I will. So, do you have any questions for me, or? I think that's it.
Somebody just.
We
mentioned
suggested that you write a letter to the
editor.
editor about it.
The editor of
Dallas Morning
the
News.
Dallas Morning News. I used to work for Humana. I sold insurance for years, and I know that insurance, the Department of Insurance, I will plan to write to the Texas Department of Insurance, because I don't know if this is really legal to segregate groups like this. There is no wrath like a woman. Also, I'll put it on my Facebook that Texas has their own AMA, and then there's the national, right, that's headquartered in Chicago. And if some of my fellow friends here would like to go down to the doctor's office and we could just chant, "We are old and we gotta go," you know. So, thank you, everybody.
We can chant, die early, die often.
Yeah,
Die early, die often.
better dead than old.
Like,
this. I made copies.
Okay, yes, sir.
okay.
want a copy.
If you have any ideas.
Assuming we can get a better Congress in 2014 and 2016.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Can we remove pressure for the only solution that makes sense and saves money, which is single payer?
Oh, of course.
Of course, that's what Judge Chakowski's doing.
Peter, would you write a number, please, between 1 and 10 and not let anybody see it? I'm going to number y'all off for the door prize. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, Tom, you're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess Tony left, so 1 through 8. And then you can tell me what number that you wrote.
The number that I wrote?
Uh-huh.
9.
Oh, well, then he won the door prize, because he would be 9. That's the number that he wrote down. So he gets the door prize when he gets back. So, and it is, it says place notes, and it's about Dallas. Has a walking map, and it has all these cards about different, places to go in Dallas and all kinds of information.
Sample house.
That's really neat.
Sample.
Yeah.
May I ask her a question? So this was just a decision of your particular,
Those 5 dollars.
that group? I mean, because I have some friends, I have some friends that this happened to, and they blamed it on Obamacare.
I do too.
And that's, they said.
I blame it on his mentality.
No, but they blamed it on Obamacare, that it was because of Obamacare that this happened with their group of doctors.
Well, that's what the
And I
doctors
said,
want.
and I said, I don't follow that logic at all. I mean, I can't see anything, but I mean, that's the thing that's happening. And I think some doctors, as you said, that are not happy with Obamacare, maybe
They're trying to use it.
use it as a way, because this says in here that they're going to give you so much more personal attention and educate you and blah, blah, blah. Hey, at $2,000 a piece, I mean,
And
that's
she
just,
only goes twice a year, that's pretty expensive.
and that gives you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, times 3,000? Times 3 or 400 people?
Don't rain me, boys.
Yeah, so.
What does Obamacare have to do with Medicare?
Well, no, but, well, yeah, and it specifically says that in here, but that's what I'm saying. I have heard this before from a friend who said because of Mr. Obama and his Obamacare, this is what their doctors did as well, essentially.
These doctors are using this to try and get their patients to put pressure on Congress to overturn the Affordable Care Act. They also they won't look at the facts, which are that a similar plan in Massachusetts cut costs over 50%, and that the costs, according to what they published this year, were less with Medicare and with health care in general this past year because of the Affordable Care Act, and of course more provisions go into effect in September. So it's there because, as Susan said, her doctors are radical Republicans. They are trying to use their influence to tell people that this is because of the Affordable Care Act, and therefore, you need to make sure that that's overthrown. That's what it is.
Well, maybe it would be a good idea to know which doctors will take Medicare.
If we know.
And isolate the ones who are doing this.
Well, no, these still take Medicare. It's not that. They're
No, they don't take Medicare.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
Oh, they do.
still take Medicare.
Oh, but you still have to pay the $2,000 for them to take your Medicare.
They're making a sub-class.
You still have
The
to pay them
$2,000 is going to make you a special class and all that kind of stuff.
so that they will take her Medicare. She has to pay $2,000.
Unless you pay for it.
It says, yes, we'll still be preferred providers in the Medicare program. We are not opting out of Medicare.
But she can't be a patient of theirs unless she pays a $2,000. So they're not opting out for hospital bill.
I have other places, because some friends of mine had this, some very,
that's-
very
in
dear
other
friends of
words,
mine
yeah.
had this, they had this happen with their doctors about a year and a half ago, right about the time the Affordable Care Act, and they blamed it all on Obama. It was all, and that's what Congresswoman Johnson said is so bad in Washington, that no matter what, and it's that way in Austin, we know, no matter what happens, they are against Obama. They're just totally against Obama. They don't want
Blinded
anything,
to the truth.
and they are bound and determined to do everything they can to try to make people think that it's because of something like that.
We'll let them know, won't we?
We need to keep
Exactly.
it up and
When you post it on Facebook, I'll be sure and like it and share it, and any of the rest of you who are Susan's Facebook friends, do the same thing. And
I'll become your friend, too.
we'll have a little video that'll go on our Texas Alliance Facebook page.
Yeah.
Doc's going
Yeah.
Thanks to Doc, and we can, share that, because people need to start being aware of the fact that it is greed.
Well, that's greed, because if everybody gave her $2,000.
Peter.
Yes.
You know, you're a younger person, younger.
I am.
What is
He's
your
not
sense
elderly.
of what gives in Washington the overall errors that are there? In that I listen to Charlie Rose, and I hear a lot of good people, Democrat strategists, and they all say, well, single payer option is not feasible.
Yeah.
And what is your sense of what gives? You're a younger person there now. How long have you been there in Washington?
I've actually been in Washington for, I guess, 2 years, 3 years now,
Okay.
2.5.
What is
So I haven't become a jaded Washington.
generated so much. What is your feeling? Is it possible that things might turn centrist again as opposed to radically right? What grips even the good Democrats, the good strategists, and the newsmen and all who are trying to be non-biased?
Yeah.
This feeling that it's all hopelessly turning, to coin a word, fascist?
Yeah.
What's your sense as a younger person about this all?
I tend to take a long view of it and recognize that it's sort of the pendulum kind of thing, and we're certainly have swung far on one side right now. I think, I think we're sort of coming back to the center, and my hope is that with more things we'll go back to the right. I mean, not the right, but I mean to the right side rather.
Shocked at all, as not totally young person, but how right things have become?
Yeah, no, it is shocking. It's surprising. The Tea Party figured out how to use, Republicans figured out how to use the internet and, put some, made it to advantage. It's like you said, Congresswoman Johnson said that, they put a lot of pressure on people who, at their core, wanted to do the right things, but because of the way Washington works and because of elections and all those things, they feel the pressure.
I really think there's an atmosphere of fear and intimidation that makes people like you were explaining that Mr. Boehner wants to do the right thing.
Right.
And can't because, this kind of basically fear that he's going to get swamped.
And he
Yeah,
should money.
I think I would say that I think I'm hopeful because I think that the fear and anger and those side of things that are motivating our opposition at this point are not useful in the long term in general, and that our side of it that is more about a hopeful vision for the future and not I don't mean to sound all hopey, changey or anything like that, but yeah, I think that, what I see happening in DC is a strong left flank from progressive organizations who are out there to, counteract what's happening. That's my thoughts. That's just me speaking, by the way. That's not the national.
Not the National Party.
Not the National Alliance. Brother Barry.
Have you reached the point where this Congress reached the point where we have the best Congress money in the past?
Yeah.
We got, no, there's so much money involved. There's the campaign contributions, everything that they have, and it's still in corporations, different places.
Yeah.
They bottle these corporations, that's what seems to happen.
Right. Yeah, we do have the best money, best Congress money can buy. I think the other thing too is that I think it's important, and that's why I think this is a unique role for the alliance too, in that not only are we really involved in electoral work and making sure that we elect people who think like us and want to put current and future retirees as a priority over top of corporations like ExxonMobil. Yeah, just people, right? Yeah, people over corporations,
People
right?
who are elderly.
So I think not only do we do that during November and October and those things, but I think that's a unique role of the alliance is making sure to continue to stay active and engaged throughout the political spectrum, not just on election day, but committing to stay active and engaged throughout the year on these issues. So I think that's a real unique role that we have as the alliance to do that.
And that, as a group, is what we're trying to do with Judy's help. We are trying to make sure that we keep demonstrating and writing letters to the editor and in different cities, bringing awareness to things like we're passing out the petition about the Ryan budget for people to sign right now.
Just a thought about this. A good example is organic food. Okay. Nobody paid any attention to that. And then at first it started out, people in farmers markets, stuff like this. Well, eventually some of these people said, we need to get Walmart to do organic food. Now, Walmart's still pretty bad in what they do over Walmart, but now you'll see some organic food in Walmart because the customers want it.
Right.
Okay. And once they get the idea that the customers want this, then that kind of overcomes the money on the other side.
Yep.
George.
Yeah, I think that, what this man asked before, we have an obstructional Congress. They're there to obstruct. We have a black president, and nobody's going to tell them this is the reinstatement of bigotry one more time.
I agree.
And the point is that we have to have activists that go out. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. And the point being, Obama got elected by a large margin, 333 electoral votes. And yet we still have a Congress that's sitting there obstructing everything from judges to his appointments. There's no doubt about it, these people have put their party before their country. I personally think it's treason. But that's my own personal opinion.
Bravo, George.
Well, and it's sad that we're going backwards. I mean, we should be going forward. It doesn't matter what color somebody is. The man did a great job, and he should have been elected on his record, not on anything else.
He was elected, and they better get over it.
Yes, he was. And I think hopefully we're going to get a lot of the rascals out this next election, because all they're still doing is obstructing. So, is there anything?
Let me also, if,
yes, ma'am.
Terry.
Yes, Terry. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
On the count, on the price. How did y'all get to this count?
Well, I counted 8 people, and then I told him to put down number 1 to 10, because earlier I had counted 10 people. And so he wrote down 9, and since Tony was out of the room, he's 9. Or I can have him, he can turn his back and write another number, and we'll do it over.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how did you,
Oh, I started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, And I had 7, 8, and so he would have been 9.
He was 7. I was trying to.
Yeah, he was 7. See, I just went like a zigzag. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Terry.
So Tony, you left.
Tony might give it to you.
Tony,
if
you left.
smile at him,
Tony, you left the room and you won the door prize. And Terry spoke up for you.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah,
to make
see,
sure.
Terry, if you hadn't, you'd have gotten it.
See, but she spoke.
I was in 9, I was in 8.
Yeah, I know, but I would have said
So-
another.
Do you want me to take it? Is that
No,
what
he
let-
wrote 9 right
Come on,
here.
Tony, you were number 9, and
And
Terry
I
told
counted
us
zigzag, I'm sorry, if I'd counted the other way, then Doc would have won.
if anybody is interested in going with us Wednesday and you haven't had a chance to sign up,
Congratulations.
if you will fill this out and give me $15, I will then register you online, and I'll make sure that you know where to meet us
And
next
Judy has
week.
tickets for Betty Bonita Johnson.
And, well, wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay, these petitions, George, who has the Ryan budget petition on the red thing?
Right there.
Over there? Would you each take 2 of these petitions? And you're welcome to make more copies. Would you each take 2 of them? And I have copies.
I think the blanks
I
are
have-
on the red.
The blanks are on the red one, because, and I committed, and I told Peter this over lunch, we are going to commit to getting 500 signatures in Texas on this petition in April and May. I think we can get way more than that, but if each one of you can take it and share it with groups that you are a part of,
Make
and bring
copies,
it,
yeah.
and you can make copies and then bring it back to our meeting next month, which, by the way, is May 2nd, the day before our fundraiser. So it's Thursday, May the 2nd, and our fundraiser is Friday, May the 3rd. But I have copies of the Ryan budget petition, and also, if any of you need a couple of extra copies of, these are our cards. I'll give you one. This, because it has all of our contact information. Thank you so much. It has,
I need some.
it has all of our contact information on it, and if you are with folks, to share that with them.
Especially in Austin, people ask about us when we wear our T-shirts.
And we're going to wear, they have a TSEU shirt, but we're going to wear our Terra shirts as letting them know we're united with them in that. But if anybody needs, I have more Ryan petitions.
Wow.
Is this your first time in Texas?
It is not my first time in Dallas, though.
First time in Dallas?
Oh, that was-
Well, as a,
Thank you.
he said, he knew Dallas was a big city, but, he was just looking, driving in.
Big. Everything's big in Texas.
Yes, absolutely.
Including welcomes.
Wow, thanks, guys. Coffee mug. Pretentious Dallas.
Okay.
We figured you might like
George.
rather than using a
No, Tom,
plastic
here.
styrofoam
Oh, yeah.
cup in
Okay.
the-
No, I appreciate it.
In the
That's
hotel, you
good.
could use a real cup.
No, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Here, get
Tiano
Leah
mix.
beside that, because she, no, but she went and got,
That's okay.
got things
He's
for,
got a Tejano snack mix. He's got Alamo crackers,
Nice.
which I thought were really cool.
Oh, that's great.
And then, if you need something to.
I bet my son will enjoy these too.
he has a 15-month-old
He'll
son
probably like that, too.
who
But
will
then
love
if you got mad
Alamo,
at the TV, you can just throw that at it,
a Texas flag.
Like a.
Yeah, like a
Well,
flag.
hey, that's true.
Thank you very much. That's very nice.
Everybody in DC, how
Huh?
angry the Hinter